All right, leaders. So this is part two of our leader call and our how to be a great leader. Again, this series is just to help with the kind of the day-to-day things that you can do, and then of course, daily, weekly, all of that, what you can do to help build your team and maintain your own business and whatnot. So one of the biggest questions we consistently get, and you guys even still ask me, is about the reports and which ones to use, which ones don't we need. Plus, there's always new leaders as well that need this review. Plus, Parkland changes the reports and updates them and whatnot. So we are going to definitely do a bit of that tonight as well. So, one of the biggest uses that I feel the reports are for is for the recognition. Because if there's one thing that this team digs, it's lots of recognition. And that's fine. I mean, it works, right? Look what happens. I mean, you guys as the leaders are super into it, but because of that, your downlines are into it as well. And that's like pretty easy, awesome thing to do as a leader, because once you find out what your team likes, then you just do that and they tend to produce, they tend to grow, they tend to, want to be involved in whatever it is. So once you know that, and we've pretty much, identified that, then it's just a matter of how do I track? How do I stay on top of it? What should I reward? So that's why I'm super into the recognition, because I have really learned that the team really loves it, and that I include you guys in that. Because honestly, remember, we're leading at all times a volunteer army, right? So people can quit anytime. People have other jobs. People have other challenges and whatnot that they're facing. So if they're not being made to feel great, to feel appreciated, to feel like this is their fun job as opposed to whatever other stressful job that they have, then chances are they're not going to stick around. We also know that if people don't advance, if people don't promote in level, they don't stick around. So these are all things that help people to promote and to build, because, you kind of have a couple of different options, right? I mean, a fashion director, pretty much, we do have areas. So areas earn 10% on fashion directors. And then starting at division and above, you earn 15% on a fashion director, right? So then the next step is that they'll promote to branch, at which point they go to probably 8%, right? And then if you're a division with an area, then you earn 3% on them, right? So sometimes people say, hey, what is the deal with that? I'm earning less money on them now. Well, here's the thing. If a fashion director does not move up in that year, that first year that they're here, branch within a couple of months, area by about the year mark, they may not continue to stay. Certainly the majority of them are not staying if people do not see growth. So whereas once people hit the area level, statistically, you will find that they stay 3 or 4 years. So would you rather have 1 year at 15% with somebody, bringing in nobody else, just them for 1 year? Or would you rather have 3 or 4 years at 3%, while also working with all of the people that they bring in that time, which can be another superstar. It can be someone better than the original leader. It can be an assortment of people that do well and stay, do well and go, don't do well and go, you're going to have a big assortment of that. But chances are they're bringing in some great people. So what are your thoughts on that? Does anyone want to add anything to that section? Is anyone going to be able to turn their camera on? Because it's literally like me and Beth.
They're all hiding.
I'm
here, but it's bedtime, so I'm staying on mute for a little bit longer.
Okay. So that is a concern that I have heard, you know, consistently from not just this leader team, but you hear it out there in Park Lane world about, well, why promote them because you make less money? But that's why. They're not staying if they don't promote, and they certainly haven't brought you anyone else to work with. And sometimes the best thing that comes out of someone on your team is the people that they bring in, because those people may last longer than the original recruiter. You know, some of you guys are a product of that, you know? So it's very short-sighted to want to say, hey, you know, I feel like I want people at 15%. You do want people at 15%. A consistent stream of new ones, not the ones you have staying there. So the 15%, if you're wanting to keep people at 15%, then we absolutely have to work on your vision, because there is huge growth that you can have. It is unbelievable that Park Lane will pay you infinitely deep. That's unusual. I know that, again, when I never like to not repeat things that I've shared in the past, because we have new leaders all the time. But in my other company, you got paid 3 levels down max, no matter how high in the career plan you went. So I had trip achievers that fell lower than that were at the meetings that I held in my living room, that I did one-on-one calls with, and I earned $0 on this person. And lots of others like her. Whereas Park Lane would have been paying me on her and her team and everybody that she continues to bring in. That means that the income potential here is tremendous. And thinking about 15% for people is really short-sighted in terms of the vision. We want 15%ers, but a constant stream of new ones to replace both categories. You need the new ones to replace the 15%ers that came and went, and you need to replace the ones that became areas and are now 3%ers. You see what I mean there? So, you know, you'll hear that out there, but that's a problem with vision. And if that's something that you've been struggling with, then let's talk a little bit more about that one-on-one also. So again, we want to make people feel valued. We want to make people feel good about their decision to stay here and work here, because you know what? People that are doing this, and this is many of you, doing this alongside a full-time job, that's like a big commitment, and we want it to feel worth it, both financially and personally in terms of growth and enjoyment. So I see that as a big part of my job, is to make people feel as valued as I value you. You know, I want you to know how much that you are valued, and I hope that I do a good job in making you feel that way. Now, there are certain reports that help do a lot of the things that we do. Now, one of the things that I spent some time on, you guys, was making a calendar that we could use as leaders that we can certainly still edit. But I worked on this last, since our last call. And what I did on this calendar was put in the things that I typically do on these assorted days of the week. So we can certainly add in, you can certainly print this out and write in things that you want to add or deduct things that don't really apply to you, because what an area needs to do and what a company VP needs to do are definitely different. There are things that you can do with your team more than I do, and there are things that you do not have to do because you're not an upper level leader yet. But this is the general schedule of things that I do. So on Fridays, I suppose we can just start here with a general Friday. Check the weekly recruiting report and the promotion report. Okay, so I do this every Friday. You guys have all been the recipient at one point or another of one of my little Friday messages, right? That message is the one that says, hey girls, your girl Sue, her 5th week is on October 23rd. She's at, 887, so she has, whatever that is, 173 to go, or whatever the math is. So when I say the weekly recruiting report, where are we? Here we go. So the weekly recruiting report, when you go to reports, that one is under Central Report. Now the company provides 2 versions of this. One is in like an Excel form and one is just kind of a PDF. So every Friday I open this up when they update the Central Reports. I print this out and literally go old school. And I number in the margin here the ones for that month. So I have 1 next to Shawina, 2 next to Deborah, 3, and what I'm doing is labeling, numbering the ones whose start date is in October. Now I'm only doing October right now because now we're far enough into October that everyone from September should be qualified by now. Otherwise, I do 2 columns. I write September on this side and October on this side. And I number out the September people on this side, the October people on this side, because there's still stragglers from the previous month that need to be qualified, right? And I don't want any of you guys, depending on a Mercedes bonus or a recruiting bonus or something, or a trip recruit, and have them not qualify over 200, 180, 400, whatever it is, because we forgot that they carried from September into October. Okay, so notice here they tell you the start date and when they qualified. So right now I would really only be tracking October people because, like I said, September is done. And I shoot out those messages. So, Claire is October and qualified. Great job, Summer. Lois is at 9/11. Now, she does have till November, but that would be stupid to not do it before the end of October, right? Because we want her to be ready to go to branch. So I will message Sheila that Lois only has, what is that, $80 to go, $79 to go? Why can't I do this math? Obviously I sit here with my calculator and do that math and then send those messages. And I believe that this is a big part of why our team has the highest rate of qualification in the company, is that we pay attention to these numbers. You guys pay attention to these numbers. And every once in a while, when someone's about to fall through, I typically notice it, let you know, and we get on it, right? So this is a great little project for Fridays so that you know who needs what and when. All right, so that is a great thing for Fridays. Any question on that?
Is that report up to date that you just pulled up?
Well, it's on Fridays, which means it's up to date as of Wednesday.
Okay. Got it.
So if somebody put in something on Thursday or that same day, it won't be on there. However, you can always cross-reference it. Now we do have the new report that's called Recruits Report. This one is a live report. So it may be worth actually switching over to using this one. This one just takes a little longer to load because it is a live report, whereas the other one was just opening up a PDF. This is the one where we can put in who started in October. Okay, so we're going to start from 10/2 to 10/30 and then hit show. This one really probably is better to use. This one is newer. So now we can see the up to the minute for just this month. This is actually much better. So we see Kelly is qualified, Francina's qualified, Rose is qualified, Heather's qualified, you know, so we can see this one up to the minute. You know what? I really do need to switch over to this one. The reason I like to print that one out is usually I print it and then I go sit on the couch and do this. But this one you would use in its live form. But this one is also awesome because it tells you the start date, the qualified date, their net and non, and their total. Not only that, but it tells you who the recruiter is. And when you click their name, it tells you who their recruiter is. Now, this is great for when you reach upper level leadership. You don't always know exactly who's under who further down on the team sometimes, or with brand new recruiters and stuff. So sometimes somebody brand new recruits and I'm like, Francina's under who? Who's that person under? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Jennifer's team. So this is great the way it shows that this is Ashley's team, and that just in case I didn't know, Ashley's under Jennifer Ebert, which obviously I know, but I'm just saying. So this report is the live one, Belinda, and you might prefer to use this one.
Okay. So now the where it says start date, is that the date they started?
Yes.
No, because can you go to the bottom for Yvette Chavarria?
Right?
Because that's not when she started. That's why I'm a little confused with the date. Because I've been pulling up this report and I'm looking at the dates and I'm like,
Was she on a free kit?
She was on a free kit, but she was due to qualify yesterday.
Right. Well, remember, this is based on the normal procedure. Any report shown by Park Lane is based on the start date and the 5 weeks being based on when they submitted. So
okay.
If someone's on a 30-day time clock, that's something that you have to be tracking separately.
Okay, got it.
That's the only reason why these would be not what you thought, you know, and that anybody on a $20 kit, not just her.
Yes. Okay. Yes, because I know when they're not on the 20, then it starts the day they put the first order. I get it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
That's why I was confused with the dates. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'm glad you brought that up. And we're almost out of that, you know. But what that also is letting you know is because you can still qualify somebody in their 5 weeks and have them count for a trip, even if they go over their 30 days. because just because they have to pay the 229 and went over 30 days doesn't mean you have to drop them like a hot potato. Still work with them, help them get their 229 investment back, and you can still have a qualified recruit.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so
Can I ask a quick question?
of course.
If it's more than 5 weeks, like I have somebody in that boat that just missed the 30-day window and who got a free kit. And she's still working and trying hard to get her orders in. But what happens if she doesn't qualify within 5 weeks of signing up?
Then she will not ever count for you as a qualified recruit. So let's say for your trip you needed 4 recruits, she wouldn't count as one of those 4. For a Mercedes car bonus, for anything that you need a qualified recruit for, sometimes it comes back around, like when right now with the Boss Up, it's just been based on active recruits, but normally promotions were based on active qualified recruits, and therefore that person would also not have counted for something like that.
So even if she qualifies after the 5 weeks, she wouldn't count?
Right, because it's really not qualified. The date is passed.
Okay. That's
Correct.
good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions on that? Okay, so is that
Yes,
helpful?
Michelle, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, is it on the report when the person got the free kit?
You have to note down the 30 days. That's what's
Okay.
not on the report. And also, they don't show up at all on a list until they do put something in. So
Right.
that's
Okay.
why those names won't even be there.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, the other thing to check on Fridays that I find helpful is the recruiting report. Now, what this is great for is making sure that promotion forms actually went through. It reminds you to do them, and it reminds you to check that it actually, happened, that it actually went through. So normally it's here in the central report. Lately, they've been emailing. They emailed it last week, but then this week it was back here. And this is just simply a PDF printout. So that's why I've been updating every week who's on it, so that this also, this does a couple of things. One, it reminds you, oh, shoot, I never did the promotion form for Sue. So you do the promotion form. Number 2, it's a double check that the promotion form went through. Number 3, the worst thing that happens is to go to convention and someone's name does not get called for their promotion. And the way to make that not happen is to make sure that this list is accurate every week from now till convention. So that's what this is great for tracking. Plus, if you do any kind of gifts for promotions for your team or anything like that, this is where then, when you see them on the list is when you send the gift. So that then if someone says, hey, I didn't get my gift. Oh, you must not be on the list. Let's fix that. Okay, is that helpful?
Michelle, where was that report again?
In the central.
Under Central?
Yep, hold on.
I'm not seeing it, but I don't know. Under Central report.
Okay, so under reports, under central report, it should, for mine, it's the top of the list. Are you seeing it, Beth, or no?
No, the top of my list says weekly, monthly, year-to-date sales and recruits.
Okay, so then I wonder, I'm going to send in a question. Do divisions get, or maybe can another division let us know if you see it? because I think that is certainly a report that divisions need.
And Michelle, how long does it usually take once you email Eric for them to get that on the list?
I find it takes till like the following week's pay.
Okay.
Like following week, everything having updated.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you think that report's only available if you had someone promote during that time?
Yes, that is the case, Beth.
Michelle, I was gonna say I've had the report before, and when I had promotion, so
Okay.
That's what the answer is. I remember now. Yes.
Okay. Well, you can't check it then. Well, okay. If you have someone promote and you don't get the report, then that's a problem.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. All right. So Mondays. Mondays is the day to check up on your own personal book 4. So if you know that that is something that is coming on Mondays, then, you know, you'll remember to, as the week is progressing, you know, how many shows did I book at my shows this week? Do I have any shows this week in order to book shows? And if not, then I need to be doing a lot of reach outs this week so that I have new shows when next week's book 4 comes up. Because as a leader, if you're not doing enough shows, your team is going to disappear really quickly. And that really especially applies to new areas. Because again, people are, you know, that 1/3 coming, 1/3 working, 1/3 going. The 1/3 goes without the replacement, your team dwindles really quickly. And then you got a raise on your personal sales, but you're not really enjoying all of the overrides that you worked hard to get. So the book 4, remember, is every week to be booking 4 new occasions to show the jewelry. They don't have to be all in one week. You booking a show. Last week, for example, I booked 3 shows at my show on Friday, and then I booked 1 show last night. That was my 4. And that 4th one was based on doing a reach out to somebody who had asked me about a show but never picked a date. So I followed back up with her. I asked her how much bribery it would take to get her to take November 1st because she needed a Friday. And I really didn't have any others besides Black Friday. So she took November 1st. And that was my 4th. That is a huge part of not only this business, but leadership is forecasting. So when you look at the calendar, look at what you have personally and then forecast around that. So if you're looking, going back to September, okay, I knew I was going to be in St. Martin for 5 days. And I knew that Parents' Weekend was the weekend after we just got back on the Tuesday. So I needed to forecast back in August when I would be working, because not working because of doing a lot of traveling is not a choice. I can't have my business fall apart because I earned an incentive trip and I have kids in college. So I needed to forecast when else I could work. We came back from St. Martin on the 17th. We did a sip and style on the 18th. I did a show on the 19th, and then I had 3 shows the following week. Now, people were like, wait, oh my God, you have a show every night before you leave for parents, like both nights right in before you leave for Parents' Weekend? My mom's like, oh my gosh, you're working so much. No, I'm not. I just got back from vacation and I'm leaving again. So it's not, oh, I'm not doing shows because of XYZ. It's when am I doing my shows? Because I have X, Y, and Z, and working around that. So make sure that you're always looking at your calendar. Like I'm already looking at December saying, oh my gosh, I'm going to St. Louis for the 13th to the 15th. Teresa's Sweet 16 is the 21st. I really only have December 6th, and maybe if I can get somebody to take the 20th as far as Fridays. So I need to make sure that I am booked up that weekend of the 6th, 7th, 8th and do some weeknights. Otherwise, I'm not going to have enough business for December. So forecasting is tremendously important, and where the book 4 comes in for you to maintain your personal business and not get so caught up in leadership that your personal business goes down the toilet. Any thoughts, questions, or contributions on that? All right, so the other thing for Mondays that is worth doing, that is a great task for every single leader to be doing, is to shoot out a reminder for the lunch and learn for the next day. So the lunch and learns are well attended, but considering the size of our team, they really should have at least double the amount of people on there that are on. The other thing is that I can look at the YouTube and see how many times some of them have been replayed, because if you think they're watching the replay, they're probably not. You know, sometimes I look at the replay and the replay is 10. There are hundreds of people in our organization. The replay should be at 100. The replay should be at 50, 60, 70. And the live attendees can probably be double what we have. So if you know you yourself are not engaging in the lunch and learns, and by engaging, I don't necessarily mean you're on live, because some of you are at work. But engaging means you watch it, you engage with your team about it. So reminding them, because let's be real, if you're an area with 4 people on your team, you can be emailing or you can be doing Facebook Messenger or texting the link to every single person on your team and saying, hey, I'm excited for tomorrow's lunch and learn. Are you going to be on? No, I'm going to watch the replay. Actually, I am too. Do you want to talk about it on Wednesday? And make an appointment to talk about what was learned. It holds you accountable, it holds them accountable, and it helps them form the habit of being on it. You know, these lunch and learns are one of the main reasons why our team is known as one of the most educated teams in all of Park Lane. And I pride us as being the smart team. I really do. So to really engage with your team on those, because remember, I do these so that you don't have to, so that you can just absorb and then work on what you learned with the team. So you can add to your calendar somewhere here in Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, you know, follow up with team on lunch and learn. Especially if it was a topic you feel that your team could particularly benefit from. If you know that I did a booking topic and your team's been complaining to you about that they don't have bookings, hey, let's talk about what Michelle taught on the lunch and learn. When's a good time? That's all, because sometimes a lot of people, they like to complain about having bookings, but they don't like to learn anything or take any action about it. And the sooner you find out who those people are, the faster you can free yourself up from wasting your time with them. Right? And then here we're ending week 1. I have the end of each week written here on the calendar so that you can add on here whatever action you would take at the end of that week. So close shows, run the real-time report to see who's on track for Rich Rewards, right? I would do that here and here. I put it in the calendar for week 2, but I do it at the end of week 1 also, because the sooner they achieve it, the sooner they can redeem for it, the more excited they are about it. So real-time report is the one that you use for anything that's cumulative for the whole month or cumulative for that point of the month. So I keep running this one, for example. I'm running it right now. I keep going back, hoping we have more people for the Mystic, right? For the Rich Rewards Level 3, the Ensemble of the Month. It's been the same 3 people forever. It's driving me crazy. But I go to downline sales. And this you can, of course, sort from high to low, low to high. This we just need to know total personal. When you click it once, it's low to high. When you click it twice, it's high to low. Beth Faust killing it right now as our top seller, 5,600 personal right now.
Wow.
Beth, is this one of your best months ever?
Yeah.
And you know what?
You know what? I had a horrible August and September, so I'm actually exhausted. I haven't had a weekend off in a long time, but that's okay. That's okay.
And you said it. You said I have more business in the first week of October than I had in the whole month of September. And look,
Yeah, August
at you
and September
reaping.
was rough. So
I
Way
mean,
to go, Beth.
this is fantastic numbers right here.
So good.
So this is, so Beth has it, Jeanette has it, Jennifer Ewert has it, and now, okay, and Elizabeth has it now. So we added a fourth person. We have 4 people that have gotten the Mystic, and then 4 billion people in the 2000s.
I'll have it tomorrow.
Please, killing
I
me
will.
over here.
of course you will, Sylvia.
I didn't get it last month.
Me neither, girl. I had a horrible September.
Me too.
But this is, the report you use for the Rich Rewards 1, and then really for anything cumulative. You know what, Beth? Even keep your eye on stuff like the $10,000 net division bonus this month. 46 plus 2,000, 46, 56, 66. You're kind of crawling up on that. So
Right.
make sure you're watching that. Okay, let me go back to the calendar. All right, so that's the type of things. You can add some notes here. Then week 1. Now, one thing that I don't do as a leader, because I think it's more appropriate to do at the lower levels, what I mean is for your central group or for your groups, to do a fun weekly recognition would be a great thing. That would be a recognition that you could do that would be different than what I do. That's one of the reasons I don't do it, is so that you can. So you can do your top 3 for the week, or the top 5 for the week, or just your number 1 for the week. It all depends on your size of your team, right? Because you want to recognize what you want repeated. If your top seller has $24, we're not doing it. But if they did 500, if they did 1,000, if your top 3 are all 1,000 and above, then yeah, definitely do top 3 or top 5. Belinda might be able to do a top 5. Jennifer might be able to do a top 5, but you might do a top seller for the week, top recruiter for the week. Use those weekly reports. You can use recognitions for that. I'm going to show you another list of another really great report under reports. And again, anytime I'm just hovering here, that's how you get the list to come up. This one here, recognitions, is what you use for something like this. This is what you use anytime you want to see a specific time frame. So if I wanted to do top sellers for just the week of the 16th, this would have been just only last week, then I put that 1 week in the drop down. Okay, and these would be the toppers for that 1 week. If I was doing it for just the week before, we would do 10-9 and hit update again. So this is a great one for you guys to take on with your individual teams. Because remember, it's harder to make any list of mine than it is to make a list of yours. So make people feel important within your group. I'm the top seller. When you go put on someone's Facebook page, not only do it in your team group, but when you put it on their individual page, congratulations, you're our team top seller last week. they can't believe it. Their friends and family see that. They're like, wow, Christy's doing great. She was the top seller last week. They don't know that she's the top seller on a team of 10 or a team of 15. And doesn't matter. They are the top seller of their team. Make them feel important. Get them excited about that. They might be number 14 and on my list and be number 1 on yours or number 3 on yours. Make them feel important. It's exciting for them. Do you guys feel like that might be something that you want to start doing?
Well, it's funny you say that, Michelle. I did that last week in my little team group because Tanya qualified and Rachel promoted. So I did, instead of waiting till the end of the month, I did put it in there. But I didn't think about putting it on their Facebook. So I think I will put it on their Facebook too. Because, I mean, it was just last week. So I'm going to do that. That's a good idea.
Yes, anything that helps raise their visibility of success with their friends and family is super helpful.
Yes.
That's true of any time you win something too. You know, I think it's really smart to encourage people, and keep this in mind yourself. When people win stuff and then they post it on the team page, I love that because it promotes it to the team. But I love when they post it on their own page as well, because now their friends and family see them winning, you know, or being gifted a bag from Mary Grace, you know, when she sends out a designer purse to the new areas, right? That should go up on their personal page too, because it draws great attention to the fun and excitement that we have here and to how well they're doing to their friends and family, not just among us. All right, so on the calendar, I just also popped in things like, you know, the leader Zoom, and you see a lot of these things are obviously repeated. Also, like this is a November calendar. This day happens to be Thanksgiving. Obviously, we're not running reports and having a leader Zoom and everything on Thanksgiving. I just did this based on what I typically do on these days of the week. With Thanksgiving being a holiday, I will clearly do that on the next day, unless I do it that night, because I do not go out shopping like a loony. But you'll see that there are a lot of things in here that are just repetitive. And then you just kind of add in, if you're doing your normal power hour, then where are you putting that in as well? So this calendar 1, 2, 3 is actually really awesome. So even if you save this and retype it on this website, 123calendar.com, and add in what you want to add in, you can. If you want to use this one, if you want to print this one, you can do any of that. But I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I do. You know, the type of schedule that I keep. That's why on Fridays I like to have a little downtime, because I do sit with the reports, I go over things, and I think about things. One of the things that is really important, let me turn the share off for a minute and go back to faces. One of the things that is important to do as a leader is to allow time for just thinking. You know, there needs to be time where you're not like, put the phone on airplane mode, step away from the notifications on the computer and all that, because that's when you do your creative thinking. That's when you'll think of, hey, you know what would be fun to do with the team? You know what would be fun to do with my VIP group? It's those types of ideas come up when your phone isn't interrupting you every 2 seconds, and when you're not allowing somebody's needing to speak to you to interrupt you every 2 seconds. So do take the time to have like some quiet time to think creatively, because that's when really a lot of the great ideas come out. Going back to the reports for a real quick minute, I just, for the benefit of the newer leaders, because I know that the rest of you know this part, but when you're on the dashboard and you want to know who worked that week or who worked today, or if you're wondering how I do the tickets for something like that, all I do is click the see more next to the team amount. And then all the sales for that week come up by name. So this is this week. And here's the sales by name for this week. So that you guys know, that name chain that I run on the team page, I definitely do my best to do it correctly. But when people start going from 4 to 5 to 6, or when I sign back in and I'm in the middle of this and I'm not quite sure if I left off at Venice's second one or third one or whatever, never sweat that. If you look at the list and it says 4 next to your name and you know you put in 5, the tickets get done from this list. So never worry that you're getting like shorted a ticket or anything like that. But this is where that information comes from. And any time that you want to know the definite correct something from someone, your best bet is the detailed report, because that is where if someone comes back to the business and they're like, am I able to get a new kit? You're going to see that person, you can see when the last time they worked was, and if they are entitled to get a new kit. Just so that you know, you guys, a Sparkle box does not count as activity in a 6-month period for the purpose of restarting. So if you have somebody come to you and say, hey, I want to get back in the business, and you open up their detailed report and all they've had in is Sparkle boxes since the last time they put in a show, the company's not going to say, no, they have business in, they have a Sparkle box. That came up recently and I said, oh, no, don't worry about that. So I just want to make sure you all know that. So whenever I want to look someone up, I just hit downline. Also, even just stuff like you do your see more button and you see, like I saw Rosa Castro. I'm like, oh, who does she belong to? I jumped over here to the detailed report. I clicked it and I found out who the recruiter was. And it wasn't Rose Castro. I just combined 2 different people's names, but it's Francina Castro and Rosa Perez. But anyway, here's the detailed report. I recently had somebody say, hey, can I actually get a new kit? So I put in her name. Here's the person. And here's what I saw. The last time she truly put in a real show, over 300 activity, was all the way back in March. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, you can. All right. Okay. Was this helpful tonight? Because I know we're at an hour already.
Yes, thank you, Michelle.
Okay, good.
Yes, very helpful.
All right, good. All right, I'm going to try to upload that calendar where you can print, edit, do whatever you'd like. If anyone has any further ideas, thoughts, questions, but we will continue next week with part 3 of this class. And if there's something that you're saying, man, we're 2 classes in, I was really hoping Michelle would have covered XYZ by now, please feel free to tell me, because, I'm kind of writing this class as, I had ideas of what to do. I'm adding things as we go along. If there's something that you definitely wanted addressed that hasn't been yet, just let me know so that I know that that's something to either put in this class or to talk about on the Thursday Leader Zooms. All right? All right, everybody. Thank you so much. You are the best leader team in Park Lane, hands down. Love you all.
You're You're the best leader. That's why.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.